We are Hamilton Wings, Score 2. Our subject is immigration. We would like to introduce Attorney Shirley Sadjadi.
Thank you very much. I'm very excited to be here.
The first question is, what rights does an immigrant have?
All people who live in the United States have all the rights guaranteed in the U.S. Constitution. That includes the right to an education. That includes the right to freedom of speech, freedom to organize. We have, unfortunately, however, people who don't have documentation, legal documentation to stay in the United States could be removed from the United States despite the fact that they have the other rights guaranteed in the United States Constitution.
Do most immigrants achieve in becoming a U.S. citizen?
Most immigrants do eventually apply to become U.S. citizens. However, becoming a U.S. citizen isn't the most difficult part of the immigration process. The most difficult part of the immigration process is usually getting the legal permanent residency status. And because of the limited options we have in our immigration law to become legal permanent residents, many people who want to be citizens are unable to become citizens because they're not able to first obtain their permanent residence, sometimes known as a green card.
Mm-hmm. And what does it take to become a U.S. citizen?
The most important thing first is you have to have permanent residence. And like I said before, sometimes that is the most difficult part of the whole process. But once you're a permanent resident, in most cases you have to wait 4 years and 9 months in lawful permanent resident status. There are a few exceptions, like if you're married to and living with a U.S. citizen, it's only 2 years and 9 months. And certain members of the armed forces or people who are located abroad with their U.S. citizen spouse might be able to do it sooner. But generally, it's 4 years and 9 months as a lawful permanent resident. You cannot be convicted of certain crimes. You have to pass a test that includes knowledge of civics, history, and geography of the United States. And you have to have an understanding of English. That's the ability to speak English, the ability to write English, and the ability to read English. And you have to take this test before an immigration officer with the United States Citizenship and Immigration Services of the Department of Homeland Security.
What are one of the causes of family separation due to immigration?
Well, we currently have approximately 11 million people in the United States that live in an unlawful status. And if immigration does apprehend these people, they have the right to deport them. Many of these people have been living in the United States for a very, very long time, so they have children that are U.S. citizens who were born in the United States. And if the Department of Justice, who's the agency that would be responsible for removing these people from the United States, decide that they would be removing these people, they don't really care about the fact that they have U.S. citizen children. So many times the children of these immigrants go with their parents back to their countries, and their countries are full of violence. They have no economic opportunity because in many of these cases, the parents have been living in the United States for so long, they have never worked in their native country, so they have no way to get started again in their country. Many of these people come from very, very poor countries. And what's very sad about it is that they've established their lives in the United States. They're gainfully employed. Their children are in school. Their children, in many cases, like in Illinois, have access to quality health care. And they're being taken away from everything that they've ever known. In most cases, these children have never been to their parents' country, and in many cases, they don't speak the language of their parents' country very well. So you're taking these children, putting them in another country, and it's a total shock. And many times you set up these children to fail in their future, and all the lost opportunities, despite the fact that they're U.S. citizens and have so many rights as U.S. citizens in the United States, because their parents don't want to be separated from them, they take them with them. If the parents decide to leave them in the United States, then they have the additional problem of being separated and not raised with their parents, which is equally as devastating.
Anything else we should know about immigration?
Well, I saw a very nice game show just that you all put on, which was very good. And one of the questions was, when was our immigration law written? And it was written in 1952. And most of us in this room don't know anything about 1952. We didn't live through that time. It's a very antiquated law that needs to be reformed. Since that time, we've only had kind of Band-Aids. The U.S. Congress has never decided to do anything to make a new immigration law that reflects the reality of our world. Instead, we're just basing it on a 1952 era, which has nothing to do with 2014. So the most important thing to know, I think, about immigration is that we need to work as a community to convince our U.S. congressmen to change the law so it comports with reality. It's become a very political matter, but at the very foundation of all this are people and their lives and their children and their work and their families. And I think Congress loses sight of this and makes it a big political issue and does not provide the solutions that we need to reform our immigration laws. So the most important thing is every single person in the United States, documented or not documented, has the right to pick up their phone and call their congressman and tell them that they need to change the immigration laws, because it does not work. This is not a solution to just keep fighting about it. And as long as this continues, we are going to continue to have people that are unlawfully in the United States. And the more people we have unlawfully in the United States, the harder it is for our country to really find the people that are trying to harm the United States. The majority of immigrants in the United States that are undocumented are doing no harm to our country. They just want to provide a better life for their families. They contribute, they pay taxes, their children go to school, they attend church. And we are a nation of immigrants, and we should continue to be so, because that's what has made our country so strong.
Thank you for your dedication for this issue. This is attorney Shirley Sadjadi. This has been a Hamilton Wings Score 2 production. Thanks for watching.